Hey, what is up, squad? Hope you are having a good day today. And finally, I am going to reveal my Ramesses build to you guys in this video. And don't forget that this is my personal build. I'm not following any standards, so maybe you can see a little bit of discrepancy on my build. So all I'm going to say to you about this one is that every bit of skill here is of course based on what I think is best for this build, and also this is what I was using on the past few days. So you have seen me show you guys the updates on my account for the past few months, and you will see a bit different build with my Ramesses here, because the first one we have the build for my Ramesses, which is with Charlemagne and then Theo, and then once Zhuge Liang was on board and opened, so we did a Rameses, Zhuge Liang, and Charlemagne for a week, and then we changed Charlemagne to Theo, and then this time around we're going to use, or I have used Lagerta on the build. And of course this video is all about that. I'm going to tell you guys which skills I'm using, which gems, which rings I am using. I'm not going to give you any other alternative on it. I'm just going to show you what I have in my build. But of course I'm going to do a separate video for our members in the channel, so for them I'm going to give alternatives for the builds and also the rings and the gems. Anyway guys, please, before we dive deep into this video today, don't forget to like this one and share this with your friends so that they can also or maybe use the build that I'm using right now. And also, if you are new to the channel, you like this kind of content, or maybe you are playing Age of Empires Mobile and you stumbled on this video, don't forget to give us a subscribe if you haven't yet, and please don't forget to ring the bell so you will always be notified soon as we have a new video just for you. And before we continue, here's a short word from our partner for today.
Eneba is your go-to digital store for games, gift cards, game points, and top-ups. And with TITOBODS special link, you can get up to 20% cashback on Age of Empires Mobile products, only on the marketplace. Eneba, the fastest-growing marketplace for gamers. Ahoo!
So I will make this video best for everyone to understand, so I will make it sweet and a little bit shorter than usual videos that I do in this channel. So we have here both the warriors and the tacticians, and honestly speaking, I have tried them out in every possible event, and Lagerta on this build is actually way better. It's because of Zhuge Liang's ability to transfer most of his strategy to Ramesses, and also because of the builds of the skills of Zhuge Liang, it actually negates the 50%, almost negates the 50% loss of troop bonuses and attributes of your heroes. For those of you guys who doesn't yet understand how the Ramesses lineup actually works, is that we have Ramesses commander skill activation only. It doesn't really have any damage on the commander skill. What it does is give you 30 strategy, increasing your strategy by 30. So that's actually one of the reasons why this works, because of the loss of 50% of the attributes, you will still gain 30 from the commander skill. And because of the help of Lagerta to trigger more activations, this will actually trigger the commander skill way better, because of the rage that can potentially your heroes can potentially get, or your Ramesses can potentially get from his signature skill. As you can see, there is a recovery of rage here in his signature skill depending on its activation. So that's why your Son of Ra, which is the commander skill, can be activated way quicker, and because of that you will always have your 30 strategy, and also will have one activation of your signature skill per second for 9 seconds. So that is always going to be a huge one. If you have already noticed it from the videos of my Ramesses on how it works, you will really see that after 9 seconds the commander skill activates right away. So it doesn't really have a damage per se, but the damage comes from Storm Upset, which is actually the damage dealing part of Ramesses skills. Now for the other two customizable skills of Ramesses, we have Flame of Genesis and Strategy Master's Gift. I don't recommend any other skills for this one. This is the best one that I can actually suggest, and for most of you guys will actually for sure agree on. So the Flame of Genesis actually give you strategy again by 30, and also it will actually stack for 6 stacks depending on the activations of your signature skill. So for 3 seconds also, you will increase the damage of the next signature skill by 20%, which is actually every time. So this is actually why the damage of Ramesses when your commander skill or first commander skill hits is going to be painful for your opponent. Another one is the Strategy Master Skip, which gives you another strategy damage. This time, it's a percentage of damage, so 30%, and also another activation chance of your signature active skill, which is 15%. That's why the build of Ramesses should always be like one from Lubu, which is the two other heroes should be supporting your Ramesses, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't really need another damager in the two slots or two other slots of the build like Lubu. You only need someone to actually buff the damage or activate the hero per se. So in this lineup, Lagertha and Zhuge Liang really helps activate the best potential damage of Ramesses. Now next up, let's go with Zhuge Liang. So this is my build for my Zhuge Liang's skill. So for those of you guys who doesn't know yet, Zhuge Liang doesn't really have that much of a damage, especially on the battlefield. So what he does is give you attributes, which is the highest attributes that your commanders or commander have, and also supporting on that is your activation chance, and also of course damage for your commander, and also additional recovery rate for your commander when you are under the state of achievement. So borrowing the east wind and actually your peaceful haven is actually the best thing here, which is actually the only thing I recommend. So here in 3 seconds after entering the battle, which is you're going to really wait for 3 seconds after entering the battle, this one will increase your commander's skill signature active skill by 30%, and then it will also give your activation chance by 10%. So that's for 9 seconds. Then it will also gradually reduce, so which means after 9 seconds it will reduce by half for the damage bonus, and then another 5% will be reducted or half again for the activation chances until the battle ends. So you will end up after 9 seconds with 15% damage and 5% activation for your skill. Now, we all know already the Peaceful Haven that will give you damage reduction for 20% for the next 3 seconds after it activates. So it only activates after every recovery, only made by the hero. So only made by Zhuge Liang. Once you are on the state of Chimen and you activated your recovery, that's the only time your Peaceful Haven will be activated. So we have now here Lagertha, and we all know what Lagertha can bring to the table. She will give you damage, and of course, because of the judgment that he or she applies on herself and on the commander, they will have a chance to activate their signature skill for 65%. So it means that you have 65% on activating another signature skill of the hero that used the signature skill, either only Lagertha or the commander. The damage of that certain skill activations through judgment will be reduced by 30%. So there's only one trigger though per turn, so I think per second is going to be the key here. Of course, entering the battle, you have 60% of your first signature skill activation chance, and also increases the trigger chance of judgment by 100%. So already you will have like a double attack kind of effect with the Valkyrie's Edge available for your Ramesses. The next few things that you need to understand also here is that you will also have a damage from the skill itself here, and also the best thing about this one is that you will have a heal for 30%, and another one is that you can ignore 15% of the enemy's defense. There's only a chance for this one, and actually it's going to be a great way, additional way to buff off the damage of your Ramesses. So next one is the customizable skill. We have a lot of customizable skills that you can use, but never ever missed out on the High Spirit, because you need this one. More activation for your Valkyrie's Edge will mean more activation also for your Judgment, which also will give your Ramesses more activation or more chances to activate his signature skills more than what is intended. So we are after here on the first activation of the commander skill, because the next other activations are going to be per second. So also other players are also using Raging Bloodline here, but others are using Bloodthirst instead. But for us, we're going to use still Raging Bloodline, same as what we use on Miyamoto, because your Lagerta is going to be the beneficiary of your might by 50 and the damage by another 10%. Because for me, if you're going to add Bloodthirst instead, you're going to deal damage, yes. You're going to have recovery, yes. But you're already covered for the recovery. You have your signature skill. Now, another one here is the damage of the Bloodthirst, which is really almost not there because of the 25% activation chance, or maybe let's say 43 because of the high spirit, but Raging Bloodline will give you more than that. So after using 3 signature active skills, which usually we can use like 6 or 8 activations for Lagertha for 30 seconds, so we may activate this twice, and actually it's for 6 seconds, so it's actually a good thing. Another reason why Raging Bloodline is actually the go-to here, together with your high spirit, even though this is another build or a Ramesses build and not a Miyamoto build, is because of the 30% reduction to critical strike damage. Because honestly, the only heroes that are going to actually bring your Ramesses down faster than a speeding bullet is actually the critical strikes of Lubu. And now, because of Scipio in Season 6, you're going to also have another critical strike hero. And that's going to be a pain in the ass if you're going to fight Miyamoto with a Scipio or a Ramesses with a Scipio. That's why Raging Bloodline is really, really important in here. So I think Raging Bloodline and High Spirit is the best way to go here, and that is actually my build. So I hope you understand how this machine gun build works. And actually, this is going to be now my build for our rings. So I have here the Lofty Mountain for Ramesses. For the first 18 seconds, you will have defense on this. And then for the next 18 seconds, you will have additional damage. Also, another one is that this one has commander damage, number 1 additional damage there. It has defense, and another important thing is it has health. So, next one, for Lagerta, I am using the Tranquil Ring. So, the Tranquil Ring is another defense ring that actually gives you boosted defense on the first 18 seconds of the battle, and also will give you another health and another troop skill damage reduction plus troop defense, which is actually really, really good if you're going to ask me. And another one is I have the Ring of Falcon right now on my Zhuge Liang because I don't have the Ring of Judgment because I'm actually saving up for that. But the Ring of Falcon is really a good ring for your Zhuge Liang because it has both healing and defense at the same time, but it won't activate at the same time. So it's either you will get the heal or the reduction of damage. So this one is going to be triggered every 9 seconds. Another important thing here is that you will have your healing effect with 11% here right now at level 30, and then you also have troop defense, which is actually for me is very, very important. So as you see, I have changed my ring a lot, but this one is the best one yet. And I will tell you why I have 3 defensive ring, with 1 being a little bit of an offensive, because the Lofty Ring has a commander skill damage number 1, plus it has damage after 18 seconds, or for the latter 18 seconds of the fight. So the logic behind all my defensive ring is that for the first instance of the fight, your Ramesses is actually a little bit vulnerable because he isn't yet activating his signature skills or his commander skill. We build the 3 defense ring for the matter that we are actually looking at Ram to be tanky on the first 18 seconds so that he can still unleash his commander skill with a decent life. For example, you still have your life at 75% or more during this time, and that the damage you can actually deal still more damage after the fact and after the first commander skill hits. That is why we are preserving the health of Ramesses on the first 18 seconds. Also, the reason why we have 3 defensive ring is to compensate on the losses of the attributes of both the heroes and also the troop. That is why we are giving this lineup 3 defensive rings in the process. It actually helps, especially if I am up against a Lubu lineup. Actually, these 3 rings, with the help of the Raging Bloodline, it really deals a lot or a ton of defense versus the Lubu lineup. Also, really helps a lot is the skills of Zhuge Liang for the defense, and it actually helps this lineup a lot. So let's talk about now the talents of this lineup. I'm just going to roll on all the talents so that you can see, and maybe you can pause, or maybe you can get to it later. This is going to be the talent tree. Okay, now for Zhuge Liang, this is going to be the talent tree. Now for Lagerta, this is my talent tree on her. And those are my talent trees. If you want to change anything on the talent tree, I won't stop you from doing it, but those are my build. Now let's go on to your gems. So my Ramesses have these gems. For the helm, we have the all unit types attack. Then on the arms, we have the strategy. Now on the armor, we have the active skill. And then on the shoes, we have the defense, one strategy, and activation skills. So for Lagerta, this is the gems that I have. 3 troop capacity gems, 3 all attributes gems, 3 normal attack gems. We have another troop capacity, we have a defense gem, and another normal attack. Now, you're going to ask me why I have normal attacks here on Lagerta. Because honestly, Lagerta doesn't actually activate her signature skill that much. So I think the signature skill of Lagerta here with the Ramesses lineup is going to be a waste if I'm going to use an active gem. Now also, for me, every lineup should have at least 3 normal attack gems so that there are going to be a decent damage for the troop for the times that they don't activate their signature skill or any skill at all. So this is actually a troop gem, not just for the hero, but for everyone in the lineup. So that is why it's called the troop normal attack damage, because it's going for the troop, not just the heroes. Now we have here the gems for Zug. We have 3 health gems, 3 strategy gems, because I really can't give you an option here to instead go for the all attributes, because we need as many strategy gems as we can for Zug. Now we also have healing gems for Zhuge Liang here. Then we have combinations of each of the 3 with a health, strategy, and healing gem in here to complete the gems. So now for the traits of the horses, I don't really have a specific traits of the horses I want you guys to focus on, but one of the most important things that you should have on your Ramesses is damage for your horses or for your mounts. So right now, the Spirit Bond really is the best one, or if ever you have Sunder, the only thing about Sunder is, although it gives you all types of damage, it has lower percentage than your Spirit Bond. As you can see here, my Lightning Chaser mount is actually not a strategy type of attributes. So we have Might here and Siege, which is not really good, but I am really just after for the 10% Spirit Bond bonus here, or Spirit Bond damage bonus, which is your hero's active skill strategy damage increase. So I am up for, instead of 9 strategy that I can get from other horses, I am up for the 10%, which is a huge thing for me, honestly, because 10% is way better for me than a 9 strategy that I can get with only just, let's say, 7% or 6%. I don't really have that option yet, but in the future, once I have that, of course, I'm going to choose a strategy here for your temperament plus defense and then Spirit Bond. So if only I have that option, that is what I'm going to do. Now for your mount, for your Lagerta, the only thing I want here or available for me is the Fearless one. So your troops damage taken is reduced. This is actually the only thing that I can get for my heroes for the defense. As I've said, I am up for the defense. I don't really care about the damage anymore for the 2 other heroes. So this is the only available for me that has might and armor that will actually benefit my entire lineup. That is why this is what I chose. And then for my Zhuge Liang, I don't really have the best defensive horse yet, because as you can see, we have full stores heal still, but I am just up for the strategy again. Strategy and armor, which is really good. And the healing armor here is actually what I was after. And then when I fused it, it added the full stores. But honestly, for me, the one I'm after for is the strategy and the armor plus the healing armor. So that is why I chose that. And then for the adornments, this is what I have. So we have Swift Blade for my Ramesses because he's the only one that's causing the damage. Then we have Calculation, which is really good, honestly, in my opinion. And then we have here for our Lagerta, just defense again. So defense for me is the key to win the lineup. And so we have Resistance here for Lagerta, because resistance is really good, honestly, if you're going to ask me. Then we have Mystic Mirror for the defense. And then on your Zhuge Liang, what I have is now Mutual Aid, because it also helps because of the heal. So it healing effects is increased. Plus, you also have another percentage of defense for 3 seconds. Now, the mutual aid is like my lifeline when my resistance is finished or it's over. We only have like less on the resistance effect. So another Mystic Mirror also here for defense. So as you can see, my entire lineup is built on defense, on stats that can actually favor the lineup instead of the traits. For my other, for example, here on my Lagerta, the traits isn't really that good when it comes to my mounts, and also for Zhuge Liang, but the attributes really give them the best thing, the second best thing after their traits. And also, of course, from my, as I've said, for my Ramesses, I'm focusing now only on offense. And now the question is for you guys. What do you think about the Ramesses reveal or Ramesses build reveal? What are your thoughts? What are your suggestions or recommendations to make this build even feistier and way more powerful? And as always, squad, thank you for checking out this one with me today. Have a great day to everyone. This is your TITOBODS, and I will see you in the next one.